You're listening to Guitar Talk with Will Musig.
Hello and welcome to Guitar Talk tonight, Wednesday night. Tonight we've got a great guest. We've got Michael DeLorenzis, and following through with everything that I've been saying about the show, the whole aim of the Muso channel and Guitar Talk is to promote musicians that are up and coming and so on. And tonight with Michael DeLorenzis, I have known Michael for quite some time now, and
scary how long.
I know. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Michael DeLorenzis.
Thanks, Will.
You're welcome.
Hey
You're
everyone.
welcome. So let's begin.
Yeah.
Let us begin. So where did it all begin for you with guitar?
Yeah, with guitar.
Yeah.
Okay, so I started piano lessons first when I was younger. And
We won't hold that against you.
yeah, I'm horrible at piano. Horrible at it. I'm good at programming it. That's about it. And then I kind of gave that a shot for a while, and I was probably too young really to wrap my head around music and learning an instrument. But years later, there was this guitarist that I used to always watch when I was going to church, and I used to watch him play. I'd be like, oh wow, he's a ripper guitarist. He used to play all the Elvis licks.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he used to play all the strings.
Well, he used to do that too. But he was a mad Elvis fan, and he used to play all that like chicken picking
Elvis
stuff.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
All the chicken picking stuff, and he used to kill it. And it was amazing. So my mum was like, "Oh, you should go get lessons off him, and learn guitar if you're into it." So she used to drag me every week to go get guitar lessons off. John Paterno was his name. He's not a session guy. He's just grew up playing in church, and that's when I started taking an interest in guitar. Yeah.
Cool. And how old were you?
I would have been maybe about 10 at the time, or 11. I started getting the piano lessons when I was about 8, I reckon, or 7. So I gave up piano, gave it a rest for a while. So I was probably about 11 that I started picking up guitar again. And I was doing guitar. I did guitar lessons for maybe about 9 months. And then I got over it, right?
Yep.
But then, like I was saying before, some kids, they just click at a certain point. And so it was probably after a year or so of me doing guitar lessons where the penny dropped for me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to play guitar rather than my mum was taking me to play guitar.
Yeah.
So it was probably about 11 or 12 when I started getting serious about guitar.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it was really the church atmosphere that made you want to go into the guitar thing.
Yeah, totally.
And with that, so like you would look at your practice and stuff so that your goal was to play in the church.
Yeah, totally.
Church band.
That was the aim. Learn the chords, learn the songs, so that you're good enough to it. So when I started playing in the church band, the guys there would be like, okay, so you can come to rehearsal and that, but we're not going to plug you in, right? You're just going to sit in the corner. We're going to sit in the corner, and you're just going to play along over there because we actually need to do some real rehearsal stuff over here. But, it's good. You're young. You want to be around. Good on you, right? We'll entertain the idea. And so that's what they did. They just let me sit in the corner and just play along.
And how old were you then?
Then I was, at that stage, I was probably about 12.
Okay.
Hey,
right.
Michael, sorry. I've been trying to do that with Will every week. Put him in
Chuck him in the corner.
Chuck him in the corner and then unplug him.
Very nice.
Thank you, Pino. Oh, by the way, everybody, welcome to Pino.
Hi, guys.
I suppose we have to welcome him as well.
Oh, you better. I'm the one who's got the mute button.
The first thing I do when I rock up to any gig is I make myself the best mates with the sound guy. For that
That's
very
so
reason.
Very smart.
That is
smart
true.
words
That's a
there.
good tip for any muso out there.
It is so
Yeah.
true. It is so very true.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Now, with your playing,
Yes.
you were 12 and you were playing you were miming.
Well, I was miming. So eventually I got to be able to start playing in the youth group at church, right? Because it's kind of like you start at the youth group.
You were 12?
I was 12 or
Okay.
13 at the time, right?
Yeah.
About that age. And that was great because now my guitar's plugged in and people are going to hear what I'm playing, right? So that kind of gave me the drive to practice, make sure that I sounded good, work on my guitar tones, figure out how to use guitar pedals, make sure that I got to the G to the D in time.
What gear were you using back then?
Back then, I was really lucky because one of the guys at the church, he just kind of gave me his Behringer effects unit.
Yep.
Which was like their rip-off of a pod.
Yep.
Right? And I think some other guy lent me his Ibanez, like from the 70s, that was shaped like a Strat.
Okay.
It was just rubbish. It was just absolute rubbish, but I had to make it sound good.
Yeah.
And that has carried on now into what I do, in that sometimes you don't have the best gear, but it's not about the gear. 80% of the tone is here.
In your fingers.
In your fingers.
That's so true.
So that's where I had to make shit stuff sound good.
Yeah.
It's a lesson to be learned, in that.
Well, it's in a way, it's a bit like these guys that have these guitars that are crap.
Yeah.
And you hear them play and you go, wow.
So soulful.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you hear these guys that go out and buy these really expensive guitars and they spend thousands on the guitar. Like, actually it's funny. They'll spend, say, $3 or $4 grand on a guitar, right? They go and spend about $3 or $4 grand, maybe $5 grand on an amp, right? And then they'll go and buy a guitar lead and spend $15.
Hey, Will, that reminds me of the drummer. Sorry, I know I'm a drummer and all that, but it's the drummer who buys a $5,000 drum kit to put in a $500 car to go to do a $100 gig.
That's the musician's economy right there.
Sure
Summed up.
With $5 sticks.
What are you talking about? We make our own, mate.
Yeah. The $5 sticks that he snapped twice and he's playing with half a stick.
He's gaffer taped them together. Or he gets the wood glue and glues them together. Now, when did you start teaching?
Well,
because you taught at home first.
Yeah. So, what happened was, I was going to actually leave school and go do an apprenticeship. That was actually what I was going to do.
What apprenticeship?
Electrician.
That would have been a good trade.
All my cousins, all my family, they're all tradies. They're all mainly electricians, right?
Yeah.
I would have been loaded by now.
Hey, with what the electricians are charging?
Hey,
yeah,
I know, right? Anyway, so I was going to leave and do that, but I decided, you know what? I'm going to give this music thing a crack. You can always go back to a trade, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to go back to being a musician. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought, I'm going to stay in school, do it. So when I stayed in school, I ended up going to EKC, St. Kilda College, on Buckley Street.
Yeah.
And my music teacher at the time kind of saw something in me. He goes, you know what you should do? You should just start teaching. I was like, teaching? I'm still figuring out how to, master this thing. You want me to go teach? But he knew that there was a challenge in that as a musician to teach others. Like, that also teaches you.
Exactly.
Right? And I was 16 at the time of that. So again, through church, because I was playing in church every week, like some of the mums who had kids that were younger would be like, oh, can you teach, little Joel?
Because the kids were sitting there watching you playing the Elvis licks.
Like I was watching. Do you know what I mean? So it's a cycle, right? Church is a great, great place for development in young music. It's incredible. That's why so many great artists have come out of growing up in church, right? It's just a great environment. So come full circle, and I'm only 16. I'm now teaching kids that are watching me play guitar on Sunday at church. And so I was only teaching maybe about 2 or 3 kids, right? Just for a year, because I'm still in high school.
Yeah.
I'm still playing in the band, and I'm just trying to be a kid as well. You know what I mean? So I only had 2 or 3 students, and it was 16. And then that's when I met you when I was 17. That's when I met you.
Tell the story.
Well, the story was
it was probably the best job interview you ever got.
It was great.
Yeah,
it was great. So Will was my first ever boss. That's what that's all about.
Yeah.
So my mum went and got I think she was getting a coffee. I remember now. One of her friends used to run a cafe in Centreway in Killer East.
Yep.
And so she went to go see her friend's cafe, go get a coffee, blah, blah, blah. She's seen the music store in the corner there.
Yep.
And your music store, Ready Please Mr. Music.
Yep.
And then I think she may have popped in and said hello.
She did.
Met you, saw that you're friendly, just like you do, talking shit about something, right?
That hasn't changed.
Right? Does that ring a bell? Right? Anyway. So,
that will.
Yeah.
Oh, now I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, right? Anyway, so she's gone in there. She's talking.
Now I know a lot of people that are just going to go bang, and they're going to add all these comments.
Right? So anyway, she's there. She's just saying hello, and you're really friendly, obviously, right? And anyway, she comes home and she's like, "Oh, I met this, sort of music store down in Centreway, blah 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 blah." And I think I snapped the string on one of my guitars at the time. So she's like, "Okay, I'll introduce you to Will that I met. You can get your new strings." I go in there, and I mentioned to Will that I was, you started asking me, what do you do? You teach guitar, but do you teach? Do you play? What do you do? And I said, I got a couple of students that I kind of teach. I play at church, whatever. And he's like, really? Well, mate, I'm looking for teachers. You got to come start teaching here. And I was only 17. I haven't even finished high school.
You looked at your mum.
Yeah.
You looked at.
Okay, tell me. I'd love to know this.
You looked at. He turns around, looks at his mum. It's like,
I thought you were a madman. I thought, what's wrong with this guy? Doesn't he know that I don't know how?
Do you want to know what for me, everything has got to do with passion, right? Now, even doing the repairs, right?
Yeah.
Every job that I look at, I have passion in what I do, right? The minute you lose the passion in anything, whether you're a musician, whether you're an accountant, or whatever you want to do, if you lose the passion, give it up.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Right? That's the thing. Now, the first thing that I picked up with you when you came in, well, it was kind of like a job interview, but it wasn't.
I swear, I started teaching 3 days later.
Yeah, that was the Thursday, and you came in on the Saturday.
Yeah,
because I had actually booked students, and I'm sitting there going,
who's going to teach them?
I'm sitting there going, I think I'll teach them on Saturday, and I'll take them on,
and repair guitars and sell guitars and
And I'm going, right, I've got to work this out. This will happen, And I said, I've got to find a teacher. And then sure enough, you came in. But the thing that made me really, really look at
scraping the bottom of the barrel, mate.
No, you were really popular. The thing that made me really, really look at you and go, that's a guy.
Okay.
Was that you were standing there and you were going, I've got to get. Did I get strings? I've got to get strings for so and so. And you were really thinking about
what I was doing.
Your student, and you were really focused on your students at home.
Yeah. Actually, that's exactly right. I needed strings for myself. And my student Joel had snapped a nylon string, and I needed to make sure I got the right.
And you were sitting there thinking which string it was.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I said, "You're passionate about what you want to do, man."
I remember that.
And that's when I turned around and I said, "Right, that's it. You've got the gig."
Yeah.
Right?
So that was it, Will.
That was it.
Oh, sorry. I actually thought, being 17, I thought, geez, youth wages. I don't have to pay I don't have to pay full wages. I'll just pay this guy whatever.
That's great.
And there's Pino doing something like
hey, it takes one to know one. It takes one to know one.
Exactly. Well, he's got me doing the show for nothing.
Hey, there we go.
But yeah, so that was it. And then you started, and we basically had the Saturday that was pretty much sort of full. And then it grew, and then
do you remember Jim that I used to teach?
Yes.
That used to
he
runs the news agency.
The news agency. Yeah.
I was freaking out. Like Jim was.
He sold the news agency.
Did he?
Yeah, he's the one in Avondale Heights. He sold that news agency.
Wow.
Yeah,
far
yeah.
out. Well,
Just
he was a great
recent- Not
guy.
long ago. Yeah, he was a really cool dude.
He's a really great. But you know, I was 17, and I've got this. I think
He was in his 50s.
I remember he turned 50 like maybe
Yeah.
a year after I started
Yeah.
working there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is like, he's 50 years old. I'm 17 years old. What am I going to teach him? Credit to him. He was just there to learn.
Yep.
You know, and he didn't treat me any lesser. He was there to learn.
Absolute
But
respect.
also for me, that was a big thing where I was like, well, hey, I've got somebody here who, one, wants to learn, and two, is heaps older than me. I got to step up to the plate. You know what I mean? I got to teach. I got to know what I'm teaching, you know? So that was a big learning curve for me, that those couple of years working for you.
Yeah. And look, it was awesome. And you were with, I mean, I had the shop there for about 3 years.
Well, I was there the whole time.
Yeah, and you were there the whole time.
Yeah.
And even all my other teachers were with me all the time.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I was probably the best boss.
No, you were. You're a great boss.
Coffee machine. We had Tim Tams. We had Joe. Where's Joe Amenta? It looks empty. Oh, good on you, Joey. Joe Occupinti, good on you. Joey Amenta's on in a couple of weeks with his trio, so it's going to be fun. Although I don't know if I'm going to talk to Joey Amenta because I watched the podcast of the show from Monday night, and
He's talking smack.
he was hanging out with drummers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
He finally come to his senses.
yeah.
Hang
No, he
out-
didn't come to his senses. I think he lost them. You know,
Hanging around with a
hanging
bad,
around with drummers.
yeah, hanging around with a bad crowd. Yeah,
Bad
influence.
Bad influence. No, anyway, but yeah. So they were good days.
Yeah,
you
love
know.
working there.
They were cool days.
Yeah.
So now, what happened after that?
Okay, well, it's probably what was happening at the same time as that. So when I was playing at the church, when I got to 13, what the church decided to do is that they wanted to record an album, right? Well, writing our own songs.
Yeah.
So at 13, I go into a recording studio, like actually not too much different to this, right? Some guy's home studio, and we recorded a whole album. And I was 13. I played guitar on the whole album. Actually, they ended up getting in the producers like, look, we're going to need a few guitar solos. I'm going to get my mate in to come do the guitar solos, right? So, but they were good to me. You know, they made all the time to help me learn, to help me be a part of the process. And I made a full album at 13. Sat there, watched the mixing.
That was for the church.
That was for the church, right? Sat there, watched all the mixing.
And you got the bug.
I got the bug.
Bug.
But that is
Studio
what
bug.
that studio recording, music, writing, the whole thing. 13, right? Then a year or two after that, bang. Oh, when is Michael going to make a track for the boys? That's my mate. Yeah, no, we're never making one for the boys. So yeah, we're just there writing. Then a year after that, did another album, and that one there, I co-produced it. I was 15, co-producing an album. Then when I was 16, the year after, I fully produced and mixed another album. And so during that whole time, I'm in the studio, I'm writing, recording, making music, learning guitar. So that's when I'm like, I've got the option to go be an electrician or
studio.
Look at all this stuff that I'm doing, right? So that's why I stayed in school, and I ended up deciding to go study music at Box Hill Tape.
Yeah.
And I started school early, so it meant that I started uni early. So I was 17 as well when I started uni, right? So I go to Box Hill Tape and I start uni, and I do the bachelor's degree there. That's where I met Simon Milan.
Ah, yes. Yeah,
right? Who was on a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So while I'm making records at church and making all this music at church, I'm now studying music at Box Hill. It's kind of all like coming to a head now. Like I'm starting to get a real sense of, okay, this music thing, I can do it. I want to do it. I'm really passionate about it. I'm getting it. And you know, so being like I was 17 and that's all happening, it really gives you that drive and that motivation and that passion.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that's at the same time that I was working for you. So all these kinds of things are colliding all at the same time. mate, all I wanted to do was play guitar every day. I was practicing guitar like 6-7 hours every single day.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I wanted to do.
C'est la vie.
Yeah.
It's
You know,
life.
that's all I wanted to do. Probably like your boy's doing now, right?
Well, he's doing year 12.
Okay, so it's a bit different.
I want him to do his studies. They're far more, like I said to him, and he's looking at moving into engineering. So, and I said, you've got to do something, especially with the way the industry is today. And like you were saying, you need a lot of hats.
You need a lot of hats, yeah.
You need a lot of hats. And his focus is school.
Well, that's funny you say, because I moved schools for music.
Yeah.
So the school that I went to gave me 3 out of my 5 subjects were music.
Yeah.
And I specifically moved to that school because they had a studio.
Yeah.
And that's all I wanted.
Which one?
EKC.
EKC.
Essen Killer College.
Yeah.
And my old high school teacher, who's just there, he unlocked the room at lunchtimes for me to go in there, and I was just recording on their little 8-track Roland thing.
Yeah.
Every lunchtime. I had no friends in high school. All I wanted to do was record music at lunchtime.
Yeah.
I had no time to make friends. I just wanted to record and play music.
Yeah.
That's all I did.
Yeah.
So that's how it all came to a head there.
So then you were in the studio doing stuff with the church and stuff.
Yep.
Then what happened?
Okay, so now I'm at uni, and now I'm not just playing church music, which I go to the kind of church where it's like rock and roll, synthesizers.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of the churches.
That kind of thing. The best example
Awesome.
is the Hillsong kind of,
Yeah.
everybody knows what that is. So it's that kind of a vibe. So I'm playing music where I get to express myself musically and explore things. So I'm not playing hymns
and
or
people
anything
appreciate
like that.
it.
And people appreciate it too,
Yeah.
right? So I'm doing that. So now when I go to uni, now I'm playing. I'm playing Latin, jazz, funk, blues. I've never played any of that shit before, right? I've just been playing, church stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it was a big throw in the deep end. But as I'm meeting people at uni and I'm making friends, I'm also sharing with them all the stuff I've recorded and produced.
Yeah.
And they start getting wind that, oh, okay, he records as well. So they ended up getting me to record their bands and record their music. And that's how I started to the first stuff I started recording that wasn't church music was soul music. Because at the time when I was at uni, soul was massive and everybody wanted to be Amy Winehouse and Mark Ronson and right. So I was doing, brass sections, soul bands, all that kind of stuff. Boom, 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 all that kind of stuff. And that's all I was recording, all that kind of soulful stuff. And then that's where I learned how to mic up a drum kit properly and work with other, right, and all that kind of stuff. So, I was so lucky. I got to learn that all really young. So by the time I started uni, I can record a full drum kit. I can record a brass section because I've been doing it at church and since I was 13. You know what I mean? And so that's where I kind of developed. So I went to uni to play guitar. I went to do it as the guitar course, but every single one of my electives was all audio engineering, production, Pro Tools courses. I did all of that as well as my thing. And so everybody was like, okay, so he's the guy that we can get to record our stuff. So that's how that kind of kicked off.
Yeah. And then how did you get to meet Michael?
Painter. Okay.
And you got the name of the
okay. So my main thing now, for anybody that doesn't know, is I got I'm a songwriter producer, and I got a production team called M Squared, and it's me and my best mate Michael Painter. So the way that I met Painter was he also grew up in church, but he was signed to Sony. He got signed to Sony when he was real young, I think maybe 17 or 18. He's 1 or 2 years older than me.
So was he in the same church as you?
No.
Okay.
He's
Different
he's from totally other side of town, right?
Okay.
Same type of church, Christian church.
How did you meet?
So the way that we met was I saw him play one time with his old band at a Christian youth event, right?
Yeah.
And so his band got asked to play. I'm hearing this band, and I'm hearing this guy sing and play, and I'm in his songs. And I'm thinking to myself, this is actually incredible. This guy's voice. Have you heard Pino sing?
No.
Okay, he's John Farnham 2.0.
Okay.
Like sickening, like unbelievable. One of the greatest voices in this country.
Yeah.
That's who Michael Pino is. Unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
To the point where Graham Goebel, Little River Band, obviously John Farnham, gets Painter in to do all the John Farnham parts in the studio now to this day. He gets him in.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I met him at this gig and I was just blown away. I started to like follow his band, follow his music. I seen that he's signed. I became a fan. Before I was his friend, I was a fan, right? And then we kind of, because I was playing in a church band, he was playing in a band that sometimes did Christian gigs.
Yep.
I would see him around the traps, and also being in a Melbourne muso. It's a small scene.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It doesn't take too long to meet everybody in this business, you know? That's why you got to be nice to everyone. Right? Don't be an arsehole. Just be a good person, right? You never know what's going to happen, right? Yeah. That's for another time.
Yeah, I know.
So that's how I met him. And so, but what brought our relationship closer together was I hit him up. I said, bro, your voice is insane. Like, who's your singing teacher? I want to go get singing lessons off him because I want to sing like you. So he goes, look, here's his number, such and such. He goes, but
who was it?
I actually can't even remember now because here's the thing. He goes, but I teach singing too. If you want to come get lessons off me, and I think, stuff that guy. I'm going straight to Painter, right? I'm going straight to Painter.
Yeah.
So I'd go in and I'd get singing lessons off him, and it happened maybe 3 or 4 times. Now this is the thing about Painter. You don't know him like this. He's got a sickening obsession with Italians. He's Aussie, right? But he's one of those guys, loves everything about Italians.
Does he talk with the Italian accent?
When he's talking to Italian people,
Hello,
he puts on a little bit of a thicker thing, right? He shifts a couple of words around, right?
That's what he loves. You.
Yeah, right? He loves it because now his wife is Italian, right? And so he's always wanted to fit in with her family and her uncles and things like that. And, he's just been the Aussie boy, the Skippy boy, the one that Joe Vardy takes a piss out of in all his shows, So that's been him. And so he's always had this fascination. So he was like trying to talk Italian with me and singing lessons and things like that. But
I eat pizza, mate. I eat pizza.
all that stuff, right? Anyway, so every time I go in and get lessons off him, I would bring in whatever I was recording. So I'd bring in the stuff from the guys from uni. I'd bring in the stuff from the guys from church. I'd bring him some of my own stuff that I was like, and he was hearing this stuff that I was producing, and he was like, dude, this is really cool. Like, I'd actually love to work together and, see what happens. And so we did. We kind of mucked around, did a little bit of writing together, and then we're like, this would be cool if we can make this a thing, like produce and write for people. So he had some young kid that he was teaching singing to, and we're like, let's use this kid as a guinea pig. and that's what we did. And we just used him as kind of like a thing of, do we work good together or not? Do we complement each other or not? And we now it's 7 years later and M Squared's still going, and that's my full-time job, being a songwriter, being a producer, and as M Squared.
So we're actually going to go to a commercial now. Pino's actually put this sign up saying to me, commercial. So yeah, there you go. There, commercial.
We're pretty high tech here.
Yeah, we are. We're full on high tech here. So
that's a stage manager right there.
So here we go, off to a commercial.
Welcome to Musicland. For great live music, Musicland Faulkner Music Complex is a live music venue and music shop. It is the premier live music venue north of Melbourne for live entertainment and private functions, as well as our full production facility. No matter what genre of music you want to hear, we have it. Musicland is also your one-stop shop for all your live music, studio and repair needs. Don't forget our famous weekly Sunday night jams, which is hosted every last Sunday of the month, live on Facebook by the Muso channel. Don't forget to check out our website, www.musiclandonline.com.au, our Facebook site, or you can contact us on 9359 0006.
Yeah.
So, Pino, you did that new commercial for Musicland.
Yeah, that was the new Musicland commercial.
That's awesome.
Yes. They've come on board with the Muso channel and supporting us.
Now that's you organise the music, which is actually I know Joey Amenta's on because he's joined us. So hi Joey, how you going, Joey? I watched the show on Monday night after the show and I saw it, mate. I don't
We
know.
should get Joey
I
Amenta
don't-
to give us
I
a
don't
call.
know if I'm going to forgive you, Joey. I don't know. But so you did the music because I picked up that's Taste.
No.
The band,
No. Ba-boom.
Boom.
Yeah.
Who is it?
That's actually a band called Sound of Troy. That's actually my old original band. That's me playing drums.
Come on,
Is
as
it?
if you didn't pick that up, Will.
How
What's
can
wrong
you not
with
pick
you?
that up? I mean,
Jeez, what kind of a mate are you?
It's a band called Sound of Troy.
Sound of Troy.
Yep.
Who was Troy?
The singer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Self-indulgent title.
Yeah, it is.
Great band. It was great. Oh, well. It's only so he couldn't forget his name.
Now,
ever
Pino,
again.
you've got something happening on Sunday night with
Yeah, I was going to talk about that a bit later on. But yeah,
just give it a quick plug. Go
quick plug, Musicland live on Sunday night. We actually streaming live jam night on Musicland at 8:30 till 9:30. So we finally got it all right, and I've been working hard. And yeah, it's going to be live this Sunday. So get down to Musicland and enjoy the fun. And watch me get nervous.
on. Yeah, Pino's actually, I think he's starting to get some sleep.
Nah,
Because-
not really.
Yeah,
Not
because
yet.
he's in here all the time. Now, that I'm finished with you, Pino.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say, get
No
back to
more.
the show.
Stop. That's it. Okay. So back to you, Michael.
Yes. Yeah.
So- When you were with M Squared with Michael,
yes.
that opened up another door for you as well as a
Yeah.
guitarist.
Yes. That's
So
right.
what happened then?
Okay, so from obviously collaborating with Pino and writing with him, and probably after uni, my next teacher was actually Pino, and because he'd been groomed in the Australian music business for a few years, he had kind of seen it from a very professional angle. I'd been through school, but he'd been in the business, right? So he really taught me about professionalism. And at that time, all he cared about was being an artist, being a muso, right? Now we're producers and songwriters. But
Yeah.
at that time, I mean, he was on tour with Shannon Knoll. He was on tour with Vanessa Amorosi. You're talking about at the peak of those guys, right?
Yeah.
So, all her band, all Shannon's band, they know Pino like that, you know what I mean? And he kind of got to watch them every night, see how they operate, see how they run sound checks, see how they get their gear going. And, that's what he
Michael
learned.
was also he's playing with Ice House.
Now he's playing with Ice House
Okay.
and the Veronicas. He's the MD for the
Okay.
Veronicas, right? So super talented guy, super talented musician, freak of a voice. And so I kind of got to learn so much from being a musician from him.
Yep.
Right. So I got to kind of work with him every day. From that, I got to play in his band as well.
Yep.
And so at the time, he was a solo artist, signed with Sony, and he had a single out, and it was a duet with him and the Veronicas.
Yep.
Went platinum, big song, Love the Fall, it was called. Fantastic song. And so he did all the circuits, big tour, blah,
Yep.
blah, 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 do all of that. Freakishly, because at that stage he'd already been in the business for a long time, he knew somebody who was at the who was it? I think it was Dainty, right?
Paul Dandy.
Yes.
Yep.
He knew somebody who was high up at Dainty, and Dainty was bringing out Miley Cyrus.
Yep.
For national tour stadiums, right? Played at I think it was Rod Laver in Melbourne, Ace Arena in Sydney, Entertainment Centre in Adelaide. I can't remember the Adelaide.
All the big venues.
Oh, the biggest
Yeah.
in the city. That's
Yeah.
where she played. Obviously,
Yeah.
Miley Cyrus. This is at the peak of Miley Cyrus too. Yeah, like
Yeah.
all her big hits, Part in the USA, all of that, right? Massive.
Yeah.
So there was somebody at Dainty who was an obsessive Pino fan, right? And was like, we're bringing out the Miley Cyrus tour. She's pretty much just left it up to us to find the support act. I want you to be the support act. So we end up going on tour and playing all these stadiums around the country with Miley Cyrus, right? Yeah. And so again, it wasn't as though I had a lesson off anybody or I got to like, you know, get these music, you know, even her band to show me your licks and all of that. It's more about watching the people at the top just
from the sideline.
Yeah, from the sideline. Just watch and how they hold themselves, you know?
Yeah. And you're actually on the sideline.
Yeah.
It's not like through a lens or a screen.
Yeah, like you're seeing them backstage. You're seeing what they do an hour before the show. You know? You're seeing
what did they do an hour before the show?
A lot. It's like they go into a trance, most of these guys. You know, some they all deal with it in their own kind of way. But
do they stand and go,
no, it's just like they become very focused.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's like they're switched on. They know that it's about to be showtime and they're either psyched, they're either very, you know, focused, but there's a different in the way they hold themselves as opposed to when we were having dinner, because we all used to have dinner before the show.
Yeah.
Miley was there, her mum was there, her boyfriend was there. I think she's married to him now or something like that. Yeah. And she was good like that. I mean, she was an incredibly nice person. We got to hang out with her every night, got to go back to her hotel room, got to, you know, just party with the biggest celebrity in the world at the time. It was pretty cool, right?
She was big, yeah.
She was big, right? And she was just 18 as well. And a lot of people think, oh, is she psycho? Is she crazy? No, she was just an 18-year-old girl being 18. It's just that everybody watches what she does. I mean, if you're
the eyes of the paparazzi, who
you know what I mean. I hope you know, the thought of everybody watching everything I was doing when I was 18. You know what I mean? It's a scary thing. So, but she was super nice, always welcoming, always say hello in the halls, sit right next to you at dinner, ask how are you doing, what do you do. She cared. Yeah. Like she cared about the other human. She wasn't above anyone. Do you know what I mean? And I thought that was, you know, that goes a long way. But yeah, I got to watch all these musos, hang out with these musos, watch Pino, learn off him, watch other musos that he was playing with as well, like Lee Fisher. Do you know Lee Fisher?
Yeah, I heard of the name.
Lee Fisher is like the drummer right
He's
now.
He's a great guy, Lee Fisher.
You know Lee Fisher, Pino?
Yeah, I talked with Lee at Drum Tech.
Yeah, you know, great guy. And, you know, I get to, and, you know, he's playing with Missy Higgins. He plays with everybody you can think of. He's really, really, really great drummer. So I got to, you know, be thrust into this world of like the really pro musos, and I was just learning. So from doing that, I get to play in Payne's band and learn. And then from there, Payne got asked to do the Veronicas gig. And so Payne is now the guitarist, keyboard player, MD for the Veronicas. And so it was his job at the time to set up the band, right? And he's like, well, I'm pretty much just going to get my band to do the gig. So bang, all of a sudden, I'm not only just Payne's guitarist, I'm the Veronicas guitarist too. And
what are the Veronicas like?
Lovely girls. Lovely girls. Really, really nice. They're Italian women. You know, they're superstars and they're great people, but they're Italian women. They're loving and caring, but they're big. Yeah, they're loud. They'll let you know what they're thinking. They're passionate.
What part of Italy are they from?
Oh, they'd have to be southern. They have to be southern Italian. I reckon they're Calabrese or something, mate. I'll tell you what. I reckon they're Calabrian, 100%. But you know, they know what they want, and they know what they don't want, and they're happy, and they're just great at steering the ship. You know, to get a record label working for you, publicist working for you, stylist working for you, band working for you, manager working for you, lighting guy working for you, sound guy working. They have to get all these people moving in the same direction. That's, you know, if you're somebody who...
So they actually wanted, like, so they would basically put the show together and say, I want this lighting like this on
Oh,
this
yeah.
song. and
No,
I want
really,
that.
yeah.
They were full on. So they
Full
were
on.
actively a part of the production of the show.
Where literally after the first, before, I think it was like we had a full sound check or something, and it was the first show of the tour. It's after they've come back after a hiatus. They've come back on Sony, their new record label. They've released You Ruin Me. It's the #1 song in the country, #1 everywhere, most played song on radio.
Yep.
Their first show, we finished sound check, and the lighting's not the way that they want it. They rejig the lighting guy just gets it full thing. No, it's got to be like this, like this, like this. The stage has to be right. Full care, yeah, full passion. Really wants it to be great, and all they can think about is they know what their fans want, and all they want to do is make it great for their fans.
Yeah,
and that's why, if you want to be an artist, if you want to be on that next level, it's not just about being a great singer.
you've got to think about the whole package.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah,
it's the whole thing. It's all your business end, the back end. It's people management,
different hats.
Yeah,
And
that's what I was saying with Will before. You can't just be. It's so rare to just be a piano player. I'm going to have a career being a piano player.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You got to wear all these different hats. You got to be a teacher. Like me. You got to be and a muso, or you got to be in repairs and be a muso, or you got to be an MC and be a. You know what I mean? So you got to wear all these hats. And don't just think because you got a great voice and you can sing that's all you got to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's how I kind of got into that whole world there. Really, Pino opened a lot of doors for me.
Oh, also, Michael, the Veronicas are Sicilian, by the way.
Are they? There you
Yes.
go. I knew it was southern. I knew it was the fiery part of Italy.
Yeah, just be careful. I'm Sicilian too.
I was going to say you're Sicilian too, aren't you?
He's a bit liberal with the mute mic. Does that mean? Yeah.
I've played with so many Sicilians, and you take a break, and they would go, it's like all the Sicilians smoke. Do the Veronicas smoke?
No.
Oh, okay, well, it's like
Super
all the
healthy.
Sicilians smoke, right? And then they go and all you hear is when they talk. That's all it sounds like, So
Oh, there's Ben. Ben. All right. That's I used to manage Ben for Mosquito Fall.
Oh, really?
Great band. Yeah. Really cool band.
actually, we've got to talk about that now.
Management.
Your management.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So what was happening was we're working with at M Squared. We work with so many great artists.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, artists that are at the beginning of the journey, right? So we're developing these artists, and we're kind of creating their sound for them. Yeah. And so we're working with these artists, and we're like, man, this girl's super talented, and this band's awesome. And, Mosquito Fall was one of those bands.
Yep. And
we're like, they need to get some Molly as well. That's the other guy in the band. Hey, boys. These artists, they're like, man, they got good songs. They got great drive. They got a thing going for them. If only they had a manager that could really step up the business, really step up the image, really step up the direction. Yeah?
Yeah.
Musos need to be creative.
Yeah.
It's very rare that musos are also business savvy. Yeah? Some of them do it. Those two boys, fantastic business guys, right? But it's very rare. And we're like, we really want people to hear these artists. We really want people to hear these songs. And so that's when we started M Squared Management. Now, we don't do it anymore, but at the time, that was something that we really felt passionate. We felt passionate about it, yeah? Like, these are great Aussie artists. They deserve to have a place. We wanted to help them. So we managed a girl called Rachel Costanzo. Have you heard of Rachel Costanzo?
No.
Oh, she's fantastic. Like, she's only just turned 21. We started managing her when she was 15.
Okay.
Right? And that girl has one of the most incredible work ethics of anybody in this business. That girl works hard, right?
Yep.
and we could see her passion about music, great voice, driven. Started managing her. Started managing Mosquito Fall, which was these guys from Melbourne, and they lived out west, Werribee way.
Yep.
And we started managing another Melbourne act called Nussi. And so they were our three, right? So we started managing those guys, and we're just developing them. So we got the guys from Mosquito Fall, we got them signed to Universal. We got them signed with Island Records, which is under Universal. And that was a crazy time. That was awesome. So, you know, we were writing and producing all the music for the boys.
And what year was this, roughly?
This was...
How many years ago?
I don't know. Boys, what year was that? Can you, if you boys are still there, tell us what year it was. I can't remember it now. It was a couple of years ago. Anyway, so we were writing these songs, producing them, helping the boys with their business, helping the boys with their branding, with their image.
Yep.
And what we did, which this is a little bit of a clue for you guys, is that we build it and they will come. There you go, 2015, 2014, 2015. Okay. It was
so it's not far,
it was on the summer.
Not far ago.
It was that summer of 14, 15 because the single that we released was Summertime Girls.
Yeah.
Which it actually did really well.
Yeah.
Actually did really well. So we were doing that and the guys got a record deal. And so then we kind of got to experience life as managers, as business guys, right? So the boys got on tour with the Vamps. Do you know the Vamps?
Yep, the Vamps.
Did stadium tours all around the country with the Vamps, with Demi Lovato, with who's the other one? Oh, the boys will probably be able to say it. Anyway, the boys killed it. They did a lot of work, and it was something that was a real great privilege for us to be able to
break them.
You know what I mean? We believed in these guys. We knew that they were hard workers. We knew that they had something going on, and to see that happen was like, yeah, you know, this is awesome. This is what we want to do, right?
Yeah.
And so we did the management thing for a while, and so at the same time, we're also playing for the Veronicas and managing and producing and songwriting.
Yeah.
And so, as you can see, this is where it kind of got a little bit too much. Right? So, we end up, because we were managing and we were doing all this stuff with the guys and with Rachel and with Nussi.
Yeah.
We end up, the Veronicas end up dropping their management. We're literally about, it's 2 days. I'm about to jump on a plane to America. I've never been to America before, and go do an American tour with the Veronicas. It's like a dream come true for me. Yeah.
Yep.
They're flying the whole band over to the States. We're going to go get in a bus. We're going to go drive. We're going to do the whole bit. 2 days, the whole tour gets cancelled. Their management stuffed up, didn't get any of us visas. Like, fucked it, right? Proper.
Yeah.
And it was the last straw for the girls. It's like, these guys have been giving them a run around for all these years. They go, no, it's over. So then we're like, well, girls, we know you. You guys are really great, but you need a manager, yeah?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
And we're like, we got a management company. You need a manager.
We're it.
Do you want to do something? And we're like, look, we know that we're in your band. We're writing, producing. We're managing all these other acts. We know that we can tie you over for the meantime, but in the meantime of you going and finding a big management company, yeah? So, like, we're going to take care of you until you find
a new management.
Like, we're talking about one of the biggest acts of Australian music history, yeah? Like, it's like, I'm pretty confident in my ability, but massive. I want it to be a songwriter producer. It's not necessarily I want to be the best manager, yeah?
Yeah.
Like, let us take care of you for a time. But that was a great experience for us, because now I'm calling up to try and make shit happen as a manager. I'm like, hey, I'm the Veronica's manager. All of a sudden, the tone of the other person on the phone just changes immediately.
Yeah.
And you kind of get to, you know, see what that's like and make things happen a lot quicker than when you're just trying to break a new act from Werribee. No offense to the boys. They're great, talented guys. Yeah. But we're talking about the Veronicas now. It's another thing, yeah? So we got to do that and kind of work on the back end of, you know, really one of the greatest acts that has ever been in Australian history. They've broken so many records, sold so many records. You know, it was an honor. You know?
I want to ask you a big question.
Yeah, talk to me.
Remember back in the years of Noiseworks, Jimmy Barnes, Farnham, Ice House. It was like the 80s, right?
Yeah.
80s and sort of the 90s and stuff.
Yeah.
And you had like the band would come out and be bang, hit, new band. And, it was like you'd have songs like Take Me Back, Noiseworks, and all these big acts.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, because you're in this scene.
Yeah.
What happened?
Okay.
It's all now all these guys are touring and doing On the Green.
Yeah.
But what happened to the new stuff?
Yeah.
What's going on with the record industry?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, here's one perspective that I have.
Yeah. Now this is hot off the press. You can only get this on Guitar Talk.
Okay. Well, here's what I want to say. The guitar as being the lead driving force of music.
Sorry.
Well, come on. I mean, think about it. Come on. Think about it. Think about it. Hey, can I honestly? If you think about it, nobody's singing back the drum beat.
No,
they're not. Right? They're singing back the.
No, you're right.
They're singing the guitar lines.
They are.
Right?
Yeah.
How long have people has guitar been at the forefront of driving music?
Years.
We're talking about like from the 50s, man.
Exactly.
Johnny Be Good, right? We're talking from the 50s.
Yeah.
All the way from, we're talking about 50 to 60 years of guitar being the driving force of music.
Yes.
True?
Absolutely.
So to say, what happened? Why isn't it happening? We're being a little bit greedy, yeah? The guitar's had a good run. It's had 50, 60 years. You know what I mean? I know this is a guitar talk, right? And I'm crushing everybody's hearts. Yeah? I'm crushing it.
No, it's not true.
Right?
No.
But let's just stop and think about how long guitar has been the thing. A long time.
Very long time.
So there was a big period, there was maybe 5 or 6 years there or maybe 10 years where music all became about synthesizers and totally that heavy, like to the point where we were pitching songs for radio and they'd be like, we can't play it, it's got guitar in it.
Really?
Really? That's what the music directors of radio stations are saying. They'll just, we don't want to play guitar music. That's what they want to play. David Guetta, Calvin Harris, all the blah, 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 right? All of that. Now, don't get me wrong. Me as a producer, as somebody who likes production, I can appreciate that stuff, yeah? But I came from guitar, right? Now, what you're seeing is people want to mash up. They want to add organic things into electronic music.
Doof, doof.
Do you know what is
Simon Milan?
Simon Milan.
Perfect
That's
example.
what I'm saying, right? So he's doing it. So that is a thing that
He's
people
on the forefront.
People want that, right? So the two easiest instruments to do that with is piano and guitar. Like proper, like piano, yeah?
Yeah.
But guitar's making its way into that world. So if you're a young guitarist, learn your Jeff Becks, learn all that stuff, learn your Al Di Meola, learn all those guys, because that's going to make you a better guitarist. But be thinking about, okay, now how can I reinvent guitar? How can I find a new way for guitar for now? Because that's what Jeff Beck did, mate.
Yeah.
Jeff Beck reinvented guitar for when it was then. Who was playing like Jeff Beck?
Yeah.
Who was doing that? Nobody was doing that. Who was playing like The Edge?
Yeah.
The Edge totally reinvented what a guitar sounds like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you got to be thinking like
outside.
That. You got to be thinking outside the box.
So we've already had Simon on.
Yeah.
Simon Milan.
Yeah.
Right. And
me and Simon were the only wogs at uni. We stood out like dog's balls.
So you guys were the only guys who brought salami
sandwiches. We were the only guys with with dark hair and beards and
that's funny. Yeah. That's funny, sitting down with the salami, cutting it on the cutting board with salada biscuits.
Yeah, we were the only ones.
Oh, that's awesome. So what you're saying is the industry now has changed that much that it's all, electronic, which, look, it is. Everything's gone electronic.
Yep.
But it's starting to come back with guitar.
Well, the thing that people always love about music is when it makes them feel something.
Yeah.
Right? People don't care how fast you play the guitar. People don't care how many licks you can put in a bar. People don't care how many times you can hit the drum. People just want to feel something. Yeah?
Yeah.
If you can make them feel something by shredding, then that's great. Then you've done your job. Yeah. But if all you can care about is shredding and not making people feel something, you missed the plot. You missed it. Right?
Yeah.
You missed it. Music's about expression, feel, soul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it's a great opportunity to let the listeners experience some feel.
I was just about to
right.
say that, Pino.
Oh, sorry. I thought I'd jump in. I wasn't sure if you're going to catch that one.
No, he threw the line out, didn't he?
You did throw the line out.
Let's make something organic.
Yes.
Organic.
Organic. That's the only way we can say it. Yeah. So we're going to mute these mics.
Yep.
Have a jam.
And we're going to have a jam with Michael DeLorenzis on guitar.
Yeah.
And we'll see what comes of it.
Listen, I'm a studio guy now, right? So just be kind to me.
But you just said it. You don't need to be shredding.
No, you don't need to be
gotta
shredding.
It's got to come from the heart.
It's got to
Play
feel
from the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Well, the boys are setting up. Oh, I might just tell a joke while I'm doing that. Right? Okay, I think we got you all going.
That was fun.
Oh, that was mad. That was good fun.
Give me a fist bump, Will.
I'm just hoping it all sounded good out there, actually.
Oh, we hope it did.
Sounded good on my cans. Good mix.
It was a good mixing, right?
Yeah. Got it right.
So that
this made me sweaty.
was a track that we call Spontaneous Combustion.
Are you? I'll call the room down a little bit for you, Michael.
Whoa.
Michael's making the room fall apart.
It's okay.
Now, going back to Michael.
Yes.
Michael
Yeah,
DeLorenzis.
Cool.
So you did all the management stuff, and then following that, you started to do some stuff where you're writing and producing for shows like X Factor and The Voice.
Yeah.
Fill us in.
Okay, so let me bring it into that part of it. So, X Factor, Sony, The Voice, Universal.
Okay.
That's the two record labels associated to each show, right? So, our in for X Factor for Sony, well, Pino used to be signed to Sony,
Yes.
and his old A&R guy is now the guy doing A&R for X Factor.
Yes.
So, so there was a relationship there. And so we were able to, be in touch and say, hey, you got these kids that have just come off the show. Why don't you just send them in? You know what I mean? We'll want to work, we want to write, do some stuff. So we ended up, the first so we worked with a lot of like runners up and things like that, but getting to the guy that won it or the girl that won it was it took us a while to be able to be worthy of that, right? We had to prove that, okay, Michael might have been a great artist, but now he has to
show that he's a good producer.
He's a good producer.
Yeah.
He's a good songwriter. We need to show that we're good producers, good songwriters, right? So Michael had the link, but it's now M Squared that needs to step up to the plate and say, okay, have you guys got the chops or what? You know what I mean? Can you write songs?
Yeah.
So we were doing like runners up and, or the guy that came 7th and the guy that came 9th and all that kind of stuff. But then the guy, the first winner that we worked with was a guy called Reese Maston.
I remember Reese.
Right.
Yep.
But we didn't work with him when he came off the show. We worked with him a couple of years later. Right.
Yep.
We went and did a songwriting camp up in Sydney that we had the opportunity to do through APRA. They put on songwriting camps. And we ended up writing this really beautiful song with Reese. And so then that's how our relationship with Reese started as well from there. No, actually, we actually ended up writing with him before that, actually, through Jimmy Barnes. Jimmy Barnes' family, Mahalia Barnes.
Yep.
Jackie Barnes as well. We met through them because he's good friends with the Barneses. Anyway, so we go up, we write this song for Reese. It ends up being a single of his. It was called Even Angels Cry. Beautiful song.
Yep.
Beautiful song. Really, really, proud of that song. But, that kind of started to springboard us into another world. And so then we ended up working with Cyrus, who was, so X Factor's gone now, but 2 years before Cyrus finished, 2 years before the show finished, Cyrus was the winner. So that's how we got into that world there. And then now we've worked with Isaiah Firebrace as well, who was the guy that went on to do Eurovision for Australia last year.
Yep.
Super talented kid. Cyrus we still work with. I speak with him regularly. He's a really good mate. Awesome guy. He's got a phenomenal voice. And not only that, songwriting, one of the best songwriters I've ever worked with. Super talented. Yep. Super talented. But so that was happening.
Watch this space.
Cyrus is a serious
Contender.
artist. Serious artist, right? At the same time, then we've got The Voice going at the same time as X Factor. Remember, they were kind of battling it off.
Yeah.
Our manager, Michael Parisi, Well, he had the contract, or I think he still does, to be the manager of all the voice artists. Right? He's got the rights on that. So he was sending us these guys from The Voice that he's managing and taking care of, all the winners and that, and for us to help them develop and help them grow as artists. And again, you know, all the years before, we were working with 15-year-old Rachel Costanzo, Mosqueda Fall from Werribee, you know, people who we learned how to write from the ground up, work with an artist from the ground up. Those skills that we learned, now we're doing it with people who have just been on primetime TV for the past 3 months. Do you know what I mean? So that's why you got to, when you're in this business, just every day, go into work, go in to do your best work, go into work hard. Doesn't matter if you're playing a gig in front of 2 people. One of those people might be the bloody head of Sony. You don't know.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if the room has 2 people. Doesn't matter if the room has 200 people. Doesn't matter if Rod Laver and it's 20,000. Right? You got to always. It's about giving the best of yourself.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it's about. So because we did that, passion, right?
Yeah.
So we're doing that, and then so we're working with, and here's how our Eurovision story came into it.
Yeah.
We're working with the first girl. I think the first voice winner we worked with was Anya Nissen. Do you remember Anya Nissen?
Anya, yeah, she was awesome.
Bro, her voice is insane. It's like
awesome voice.
Incredible. It's like one of the best voices you will ever hear in your life, right? Incredible voice, right? Whatever we asked her, like we're making her sing just stupid shit, just to test her to see if she could do it. Nailed it. Just we didn't even end up putting it in the final records. We were just having a laugh to see if she could hit these notes, hit them all, freak, right? So we end up doing a full development with Anya, making a whole album's worth of material, and like things go, she gets put on the shelf by her record label. She ends up going overseas back to where she's from, Denmark, right? Her family's from Denmark. And after like 2 or 3 years that we've made this music, she ends up somehow being Denmark's entrance into Eurovision. Right? And then they're like, all of a sudden, well, oh my God, what are we going to do? Like, what song is she going to sing? Like, and now all of a sudden people care about what she's doing, and she's back, and we got, well, what are we going to do? Oh, that's right. The M Squared boys have made a full album's worth of material.
So they just grabbed one of those songs.
Bang, Eurovision song. That's how it happened. So 3 years before we're making the song, just writing it to write good music.
Was the song still in?
What do you mean?
You know how when you do a song.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So did you have to remix the song or redo the song?
We didn't touch anything because, not to blow smoke up our own ass, but we were really, we were pushing ourselves to be not followers, but really on the front end of what was happening in pop music. And that's what we still do now. Always try and make sure that we're listening and trying to be there. 2-3 years after we've made the song, it still sounded like everything that was on the radio.
Wow.
Didn't touch nothing. They just went, bang, let's just release it. And that's what happened. And so she ended up getting in the finals of Eurovision. I think she was in the top 20 or something that year, or she came like 16th or something like that. I forget what it was, but she didn't win it. But just to be there, you know what I mean? Just to have our work there amongst what really is, it's a historic event. Every year, you know, history is made.
Hey, people blow out a whole weekend to go and watch it.
You know what I mean? It's a thing. It's a thing.
I know people that do the Barbie, the whole kit and caboodle.
That's what I'm saying. So it's a full thing. So, you know, for us, that was cool. That was a cool thing for us to do. So we've worked with every single voice winner since. We've worked with the last couple of X Factor winners. We've worked, you know, all the people that come maybe, like I said, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th in all of those shows. Well, you know what? They are talented artists. They do have great voices. I mean, you guys probably know a lot of people that have been on those shows, right? Lots of great Melbourne musos and young artists, things like that go on there. Just because you didn't win the show doesn't mean your career's over at all. Mate, it's just the start.
It's
just starting.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So we really do love getting alongside those artists and helping them build up their sound, help just, you know, get them on their way. that's something that we've always loved to do. So we get to do that all the time. So yeah, that's how that all happened.
So your relationship with Michael Parisi now,
yes.
you still working with him?
Yep, he's our manager.
He's your manager.
He's our manager. He is the guy that brought us over to Mushroom.
Yeah.
So he used to be, I think he used to run Mushroom in some capacity. I know he used to run Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Warner Music. But yeah, he brought us over to Mushroom and he hooked us up with the guys there. We're signed now with Mushroom Publishing.
Yeah.
And through those guys, we've been doing some really cool stuff, man. Like we're super lucky to be working with Mushroom. We've got a great team there that really believes in us. And that's, we had other offers from publishing companies.
Yeah.
But it was really knowing that they believed in us. We had offers for more money from other publishing companies, but it's the people, it's the belief.
Money doesn't.
It's the passion. It's the passion. It's the passion.
Absolutely.
And because those people are passionate and they're passionate about what we're doing, you know what? Things are happening. The team's moving in the same direction. We've been doing writing camps with Sony again. With, some.
So what do you do in the writing camp? What happens?
Literally, so in a writing camp, which we're about to go to LA and do an LA writing camp, literally the publishing company or the record label, whoever it is that's running the camp. So that particular camp that we did recently was Mushroom and Sony collaboration, where Mushroom Publishing was getting its writers in the room with Sony artists. And literally, we were in a studio that was half the size of this, actually. It was
How many
tiny.
people are in the room?
Me and Pino and whoever the artist is, or me and Pino and maybe two others, like the artist and another writer, for instance, right? So never more than 4 people in a room. And we literally just, we ran the studio for the whole week, and Sony and Mushroom would just literally send us in a new artist. At the end of today, we need a new song. It's just got to be done. It's got to be hit. That's what it is. That's how writing camps work. Bang, write it out. Next day, new artist, new vision, new direction, new song, new topic, new person, just meeting a hey, going, blah, 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 blah. Let's go get a coffee, let's have a chat. This for an hour, and then bang, got to write a song. Every day, new artist.
So where do you get your ideas from?
This. Talking shit with a person. What are you going through? How you doing? What have you been? Who are you? What are you up to? You hurt? You loving life? What'd you do on the weekend? What'd you do this morning? What's going on?
Yeah.
Hey, there's a song in that.
I had to put up with Pino tonight.
Let's write a song about it.
That'd be a very, very traumatic song, I reckon.
It's very traumatic. It's like, oh.
We'll need to get the harp out for that one.
The violin.
And that's literally all it is. It's got to be real to the artist, or sometimes they don't have an idea, and so I've got literally a thing in my phone where I've just got a whole notes of just all these ideas that pop into me at random times, and I just jot them all down for when the artist doesn't have something that they really want to write out. Be like, well, actually, you know what? I got screwed over by this such and such a person, and this is what happened. This is the story. Or, I've been thinking about this observation on life. What do you think about it? And sometimes the artist is like, yeah, I really connect with that observation and that line of thinking. Let's write a song with that, and bang, and we're off. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
It's hard, but us doing a writing camp and a new artist in our studio and writing a new song every day, that's what we do anyway. So because we've been doing the practice of 5-6 years of doing it anyway, now when we're in a writing camp for Sony, now when we're in a writing camp in LA with the biggest artists going up and coming in LA, well, it's just another day at work.
So for you guys, the average day is pumping out one song.
Well, to write a song, generally it takes us a day. And to get
producing, it's another thing.
Producing it, to get it to a final production, it can vary. The past couple of weeks, it's been taking us 3 days to write, produce, mix, done a song. 3 days.
Okay.
Which is pretty quick.
It is pretty quick.
It's pretty quick.
Stock Aitken and Waterman, that.
Yeah, like it's like I'm talking it. It's done, polished. Like just what's today's Wednesday. We started a song on Monday. We finished it today. I can
Yeah.
play it on the phone right after this. It's done.
So when a studio calls me, I'm going to make sure I answer that call because I've only got 3 days. Right?
That's exactly
It's
right.
not like I'll call him next week. I'm busy.
But
this
you know,
week.
that's the other thing. Like we are songwriter producers. We're not
Yeah.
a studio. You don't hire our studio because we got studio time. No,
Yeah.
we either believe in that artist or we don't. If we don't believe in the artist, then we say, hey, we're not actually the right guys for you. You should go and work with such and such because they're really good at that, and you should go work with them. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, every single thing that comes out, it's not only Will Music's song, it's M Squared's name that's on that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so if we don't believe in it, like you're sensing, the passion has to be there
Yeah.
behind the project for it to be good. No passion, no good.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's how it works.
Yeah. So, wow, it's amazing.
Bit to digest.
I know it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So, now in summary,
Yeah.
right? Actually, what do you want to do? So you're just going to keep pumping songs out.
That's the aim, eh? That's the aim.
Now, let's look back. You were 12
Yeah.
when you started, like your first sort of
Mucking around, yeah.
mucking around thing. You joined the church band. Then you get a gig with me teaching.
Yeah.
And now you're writing songs that are hits, big songs. Not only here in Australia, but globally.
It's pretty fun.
Wow.
It's fun, eh?
Yeah. So now, for all of these new up-and-coming musicians, give them a tip.
Oh, give him a tip.
How do you get heard today with a record label? How do you do it?
write good songs? That's the key.
So it's writing good songs.
Write 200 songs in hopes that one of them is good. The currency of music is the song. That is crucial.
So for you to go to a record label, you need to have at least 200 songs
You
under
should
your belt.
you should have like so many songs. Like I'll give you a good example, and this is close to home. Kiara Muscat, one of Liz's students.
Yep.
One of Emmanuel Mamo's students.
Yep.
Who I went to high school with Emmanuel.
Yep.
Right. She was writing and doing all this writing and stuff, and she had a whole bunch of songs, right? And she heard about us somehow. I don't even know how she found out about us. Came in and wanted to work with us. We had a meeting with her in February last year, and she's like, "I'm doing year 12, but I want to come in. I write songs. Here's some of my songs." And she sang them in February. She'd already been writing. Who knew how many songs? Maybe 20, 30 songs, right? And then she's like, "I want to come and work with you guys. I'm going to finish year 12. And at the end of this year, I want to have my dates booked in now, because when I finish school, I'm coming and I'm recording." I'm like, "I like this. This is great." So she books in her dates with us in December, but it's February. She finishes school, does year 12. She's in the studio with us like 2 weeks after she comes back from schoolies, right? She's done year 12. And we're like, "Yeah, those all songs are cool and stuff, but play something new. Play something you've just written," right? And she plays us something hot off the press, something new, something fresh about, now of finishing year 12 and being at school and doing all that. We go, "There's a song in here. There's something there." So we get our hands in there. We muck around a little bit. We rejig a few things. Why don't you say this instead of that? Why don't the melody go like this instead of that? And we kind of collaborate with
Find
her.
the hook.
Find the hook, reinforce the hook, bring focus, turn it, give it some polish, record it, get the right sounds, give it the right aesthetic, set her on a path. That song gets released. We literally had all the big labels saying to us, "Who is this girl? What is this song? We love it. Where is she? We want this girl now." One song. You'd think it was an overnight thing.
That's one of Liz's students.
One of this.
Actually, Kiara just says, "Oh, hey." And she's
Hey,
laughing.
there she is, Kiara. Right? That's her. She's so talented. But
Yeah.
you'd say to her, "Oh, she's only released one song. What a fluke."
No.
No. Not a fluke.
No,
Not a
no.
fluke at all. This girl's been writing, mate. She's been writing. And now it's ready. And guess what she's doing now? Guess what the record labels are telling her to do?
What?
Right. Because they know Just right.
There's another one.
Right. That's all they want. And, so what's the advice?
Right.
That's it.
Okay. So, Kiara, now that you're on, you're actually there. Congratulations. And well
She's
done.
super talented.
Actually,
this girl.
we actually had Kiara Musket on the Muso channel,
She
or
was.
actually Drum Talk Radio back then.
Keeks. She
Yeah.
goes as Keeks.
Yeah.
Okay,
Now-
I didn't know that.
Also on that, I know, because I know how passionate Liz is with her the school and stuff. And again, I use the word passionate. So and yeah, Kiara, all the best. I hope it all goes well for you.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to wind it up. What do you reckon?
It was a good hang, mate.
Oh,
I love
mate,
catching up with you.
Tonight was the best, I have to admit. Tonight we've learned a bit about the industry. We've learned about how to write, well, not so much about how to write a song, but if you want to make it, what the record labels are looking for. And we had to put up with Pino, and that was awesome.
Really?
We got through it.
So
Yeah.
now, Monday night, Pino,
Yep.
what have you got in store for us?
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. It's not confirmed yet, so I can't really say. Anyway, if it does happen,
If it does happen, let's drop the seed.
yeah, if it does happen, 7:00 live. We've got Marcus Jackson, who's an Elvis impersonator,
Yeah.
and they're doing a show at Melrose coming up next month. So we're going to be chatting with him live, and then Will, you're hosting that one,
I'm
and you'll be hosting that. And then we've got Drum Talk Radio on Monday night, and I think, oh God, Will's sitting on that one too. So it's
I'll put my radio voice on for that one.
oh, thanks, mate.
Yeah.
And then next week we got on the mic with the
Liz.
Vocal Art Studios, and then Guitar Talk next week, and Can Do Radios at 7 till 8 o'clock on a Wednesday also.
Yeah.
And good on you guys for doing this.
That's great.
Honestly,
And-
spotlighting, guys like Simon and the next gen, but also, getting people that have been there and done that to all, like young kids listen to this stuff, and they're picking things up. Like, you're helping develop artists.
The whole idea of the show is, the whole idea of the Muso channel is to give up and coming musicians a forum so that they can get advice from people like yourself. That's the first thing. Second, we need to bring the musicians that did it, guys like Jeremy Allsop, Rob Little, all those guys, right? They're the guys that paved the way for all of us to do what we want to do now.
They set the template of what it means to be a pro muso.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They're the guys who have set the industry standards for
Totally.
us to follow.
Totally.
And now we are moving into the next gen, right? So that's that. Also, next week, by the way, I've actually got Greg Phillips coming on. Now,
Cool.
Greg Phillips, I don't know if you know who Greg is.
No, tell me.
Greg is the editor for Australian Musician Magazine.
Great.
Right?
Great magazine.
Now,
Yeah.
Now, we're going to talk about the guitar show that's going to be coming. Well, guitar talk, guitar show, right? We're going to talk about that. But also, Greg's met and interviewed many famous people like Santana, Stevie Wonder, and a lot of big artists. Like, I'll be posting some photos of who Greg is with. So that's going to be an amazing thing. And working the whole aim is to hopefully work with Australian Musician Magazine, bringing it together with our show and bringing the Australian Music Association and everybody together so that we can actually work together. Well, we all work together.
Yeah,
in a way.
totally. Yeah.
So in the retail environment, we're all working together. In the wholesale environment, in my field, the repair environment, we're all working together. So that's the whole aim is to bring more people onto this platform.
Fantastic. It's awesome.
And we're live.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of other podcasts out there, and they're podcasts. And look, I mean, I love them. They're great. Some of them are great, but we're live.
Yeah.
So if you want to ring in and you want to ask a question to someone like Michael, you're more than welcome to call. You can write messages on there and say, hey, what do you think of this or whatever. you can do that as well. So that's the whole aim of the show.
It's fantastic.
So-
Honestly, it's great.
So, Michael, thank you very much for
Thanks
coming
for having
in.
me, mate. Honestly,
Seriously, it's been like catching up,
Yeah.
having a coffee.
it's great.
Like once upon a time when I had the shop and
Yeah.
you were in the shop.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Pino. Thank you for.
It's always a pleasure, Will. Well done.
It was an
Thank
absolute.
you, Michael.
It was an
Thanks, mate.
absolute pressure working against you tonight, Pino. Absolute
Wait till
pressure.
Monday night, buddy.
Oh, mate. Oh, yeah, I know. I'm walking into the Lions then Monday night with drummers.
That's
Oh,
correct.
dear. So anyway, everybody, thank you for listening in tonight. I had a ball. It
was awesome.
I enjoyed the jam session. That was cool tonight.
Yeah.
I'm
not intimidated in playing next to you, Will.
You gotta be joking.
Come on, mate. I've heard you play.
The heck from the western suburbs, mate. Anyway, so thank you everybody for listening in, and until next week, enjoy your music. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
You're listening to Guitar Talk with Will Musig.